Hey, everybody. I hope you are having an amazing day. It is, my name is Ebony S. Bailey, and I am an author. I am an author strategist, a creative, a purpose enthusiast. Yes, I made that up. And I challenge women to wake up and walk in their God given purpose on purpose. And I do this through my devotionals, my journal line dream pad. If you don't know about it, head over to yourdreampad.com. That's a little plug. I also do that through live events and the She Woke Up platform, which you are viewing right now. And so today, I wanted to just launch the She Woke Up broadcast all over again. Over the last 2 seasons, I've had some dynamic women who came on here who created their own lane. They were coaches, they were business owners, they were psychologists, authors, teachers. I had instructional leaders. I had some singers. Okay, listen, if you knew who they were, yes, I said singers. I had some amazing singers and more on here who came up here and told their stories. They were honest about their journey and how they got to where they are now. They gave tips, they gave tools, they gave the raw, unadulterated truth of how they got to where they are. And so this time, I decided to do it a little different. So this season, you get me. Yep, you get Ebony S. Bailey. And the focus has evolved some. So the first season, we talked about waking up from our gifts and talents that God gave us, right? We talked about that in the first season. The second season, we talked about how to stay awake and to thrive. Well, this season, now that we're awake, now that we've decided to stay awake, it's time to create. And so that's what this season is all about. We are talking about creating. And what are we creating? What are we creating? All right. So this season, we are talking about all things publishing. For those who know me, um, you know, I have books, I have journals, I do content writing, I do different things of that sort. But now I decided to help other people out. And so this year, at the very top of the year, I partnered with my husband and branched out and created a publishing division off of Premier's brand. The name of the publishing division is Purposely Booked. And and it still is very important for me to help other people bring their voice to print. So, writing a book can be overwhelming, right? Especially when you don't know where to start. Writing a book can be time consuming, especially when you don't know how to prioritize um, your thoughts and what order to do things in a certain way. And so, this season, I am here to help authors amplify their voice and to do it in classy and trendy ways. Okay. I love, my husband is a full on branding beast. Okay. And so, because of that, I don't want my stuff just to look any old kind of way. And so, presentation matters. And so, through this process of this month, I will show you how to not only produce and get those thoughts out of your head and onto paper. But I will also show you ways, and I'll have a workshop too that I'll talk about a little bit later, to show you ways on how to make your designs, your book covers, and your interior layout and formats flow seamlessly. Okay. And so that brings us to why we're here today. I was looking at the calendar and I saw that November 1st is National Authors Day. And I said, okay, I want to help other people who want to accomplish this goal of becoming an author, whether it's a full on book, whether it's informational, whether it's a low content book. And when I say low content, I mean journals, coloring books, devotionals, things of that sort. I said, I want to help people go ahead and get that started. And so What we're going to do today is we're going to start off by talking about three specific things. I want to cover the type of publishing options that are available to you. There are several types, but there are typically three that people usually use. I want to talk about how to clearly define your intentions when you are writing, because that can be something that will hold you up and cause you not to move forward, because you are not clear on your intention, on why you are developing what you're developing and how you are doing it. And then I also want to talk to you just the benefits of having a book coach and a writing coach. That sometimes when you can't do these things on your own, it's good to bring in reinforcements. And again, I can offer those services as well. But let's jump in. So today I wanted to start off and let's just decide, okay, I want to write a book. I don't know how many people are on here and you are contemplating writing. You're contemplating getting those thoughts, getting that book, something that you needed. Say you were going through an experience and you needed something and you wish that was available to you. And now you feel the unction to produce the thing that you were missing when you were going through whatever it is that you were going through. And so when you start to write, it is very, very important that you clearly define your intentions for your book, for your project, for your journal, whatever type of publication it is that you are going to produce. It's very important that you clearly define that. And why is that so important? Okay, I don't know about you guys, but my household, I have 5 children, okay? I have a whole husband. I got 5 kids, 3 in elementary, 1 graduated high school last year, and 1 that's a junior in high school. Time is valuable. You cannot get that back. And so when you are writing, the last thing you want to do is write a whole book, right? Say you wrote, I have a friend and she wrote several pages of her book, and she got to a point where she was like, I need to scratch this. I need to start over. This isn't what I need. So when you start off with a clearly defined plan, it helps you to write intentionally, maximize your time, and also you'll feel like you are producing. Okay. And so when you're writing, it's very important also for you to have one stationary place that you do it. I like to sit down in my space with I have a whole setting. I got my lights, I got my music, I have my laptop, and I'm one that loves to write by hand. So like writing on paper as well. But having a centralized place that you keep your thoughts, your ideas, and your concepts will also help you to um stay on task and make sure that you are writing with purpose. Okay. And so when you are writing, you also want to know what type of publication you're writing. It doesn't have to be a novel, it doesn't have to be a textbook. It can simply be something as simple as a devotional. It can be something as simple as a journal, creating some prompts that you want to put on journaling pages for other people to benefit from. It could be something as simple as you have children and you realize your children um, they like to color and they need to learn math, and so now you want to create something where they don't realize they're learning, but they're also enjoying it while they're doing it. And so you're creating an activity book, you're creating a coloring book, any of those things. But it's important to, like I said, clearly define that before you start. And so also you want to talk about your genre. What genre are you writing? Who are you writing to? And I know I said a whole lot. And again, the start of the book can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. So you just decide, you make a decision. Okay, we're making a decision. We're deciding, okay, I want to create this book, and it's for, I'll use myself as an example. My very first devotional I created was because I was going through a very, very challenging time where I did not have consistency in how I felt about myself. I decided I was going to write a devotional called In His Eyes, I Am Enough. And so I sat down and I wrote all these things, and I wrote a quote. I wrote a little, I wrote a quote, I had a scripture, and I had a blurb about it, and I would write a prayer. And I did that consistently. I did that consistently. I wrote it out. And so I knew that that book was for someone who was struggling with identity. And I wanted to define how they would feel when they read that book. And so when you're writing, it's very important for you to also, you want to know what type of emotion you are in, but you want your reader to be experiencing as they read your book. And as you write, you build around that. Okay. You build around that. You write with intention. You also, and again, these things I'm going to put in a nice little downloadable, and you would be able to go to ebonysbailey.com and download that. Or you can also be able to go to shewokeup dreaming.com and download um, this these tips and tools that I have from tonight. So you want to also, just like you would do for a product, you talk about your market. Who are you writing for? Who are you solving a problem for? Are you solving a problem for busy moms? Are you solving a problem for people that don't like to read? So you don't write a full novel, you write blurbs, different things of that sort. So you decide who you are writing for. Once you do that, now you're able to have a clear picture of your ideal reader. Once you have your ideal reader in mind, now you can start building. Okay. How you start building is you start researching that person. What does that person like to read? What does that person like to experience? How do they learn? Things of that sort. When you put those things into place, then you can start writing. I know I've said a whole lot so far. And I've also been talking about building. I definitely love to talk and call any type of publication that is writing, any type of book, journal. You are building something. It is an investment. Okay. It is an investment to write and create quality work for someone else to grab a hold of. And so, what you should do is take the time to build something that is quality and build something that will last. Think about a home. When you go and you are you never just build a home just without a blueprint. And so this portion of your building uh building process is where you are developing your blueprint for your book. This stage is not to be skipped. It is super, super important. And once you get the concept of what you're writing, who you're writing to, now it's time to do a brain dump. That is super important. Especially when you are not 100% sold on one particular topic or how you want to go about it. If you take the time to take your paper, write it all out, just everything you think of, write it on a piece of paper. No idea's too crazy. I promise you. No idea's too crazy. Nothing's too outrageous. Write it down. Once you write it down, you can then look at it and group them. You would then look at them, read them out loud so you can hear them, and then you will be able to sort your ideas, cross off the ones that don't connect with the ones that you had decided about earlier. Remember, you determined who you wanted to read your book and how you wanted them to feel. So the ideas that you wrote down, make sure they connect with that ideal reader. If they don't, cross it off. And you would rinse and repeat this cycle until you draw down your list from a large list to a small one. And once you do that, once you create and hone in on one particular idea, now it's time to start building. Now it's time to start drawing that blueprint for your book. Okay, so I said a lot, right? And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Um, if at that point you're like, Ebony, listen, you said a whole lot, ma'am. I am all over the place. I don't have the attention span to capture all of that on my own. I need help. And that is where It is beneficial to have book coaches and writing coaches. Listen, they are all over the place. Okay. Lots of people tag coach on their name now. They're a specialist, they're a coach, they're these different things, but those particular people help you calm the noise down and bring the chaoticness of life and put that on the side and help you get a plan to get started and write, keep you engaged and motivated. So they are like your coach and your personal cheerleader all wrapped up in one. They give you accountability. That is super important when you're writing. Um, Sometimes, if you do it on your own, you'll get tired and you won't feel like it, or you may come to writer's block. You've heard that term before. And your writing coach or your book coach, they will be able to draw that out of you. They'll help you get those ideas from your head and onto paper. And they'll also help you make it something that is palatable for the readers that you have already designed when you first started writing, when you first decided you wanted to write. So we said a writing coach is very essential to help you turn down the noise and silence the chaos, bring the chaos to a halt so that you can create a plan to get you started. They also will help to ask you probing questions and challenge you to dig deeper, to widen your vantage point. They are able to go in and start dissecting things and telling you, hey, maybe you should expand or expound a little bit more on this idea. Maybe you left something out, add something here. And so it's very important to have someone with a different perspective to help you build what you saw in your head. Okay. They also offer constructive criticism. When you're writing, you can't be in your feelings, you can't be sensitive because you understand what you're saying. But the goal of your writing coach or your book coach is to make sure your ideal readers are able to understand it as well. Your book coach also has industry intelligence, okay? It's stuff that you wouldn't even think of doing as a first-time writer, that your coach would be able to guide you and tell you how to do. All right, and so now, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I wanna thank you guys for joining. Also, so we talked about clearly defining your intention for your publication, whether it's a book, a journal, whether it's an ebook. It could be a downloadable PDF, but you're putting it in book form. All of those things are important because you want to write with intention. Who wants to build something and nobody benefit from it? Or you package it the wrong way and the person you intended it for doesn't even realize it's for them. And so that's the also another benefit to having a book coach, because that book coach will make sure that your ideal reader will be able to understand and recognize that what you are writing is for them. All right. And so next, I wanted to jump in and talk about the different types of publishing options. There are many, okay? Lots and lots of types of publishing options. We all know that there are the first one ever was that traditional publishing. Now, traditional publishing is not as popular now, but it has its advantages and disadvantages, you know? So it's very important that when you're deciding the way you want to present your book, your publication, that you take the same amount of time that you would when you were choosing your home. When you were choosing and designing your home, when you were building it, you want to make sure that you are using the right sources, the right people, the right all of that stuff. You want to make sure that you are doing that. Let's see. See, we have a question. That's absolutely right, Sandra. You will not be able to move forward if you do not until you understand. And so when you start doing that, and Sandra is she is a writing coach as well. So um she understands that being able to coach someone through that, it's almost like when you're going through something in your normal life and you have to go to something that you can't handle on your own and you have to go seek a counselor. You know, you have to go seek a counselor for it because it's beyond your control. And so you don't know how to dig yourself out of it. And so your writing coach is able to ask you questions and help you formulate a plan, help you get that stuff out of the way, clear out the clutter, clear off, clean out that connection so that you can sit down and process what's going on, why you have a block, what is it, and then they help you remove it. Okay. So your traditional publishers, they are selective. Some people don't care for that because you do not have creative control. That's one of the reasons that people generally you go the self-publishing route, or they go the hybrid publishing route, which we'll talk about, because they control the idea. They determine, they have the final say. Okay. In the manuscripts, they have the final say in the design and editing portion of the book. They have the final say because their name, their reputation is behind it. Um, another and another an advantage of a traditional publisher is it would be minimal investment from the author. However, on the flip side, you do not own the rights to your publication. You typically don't. You get a royalty. Okay. So if you go to a traditional publishing house, you may publish a book, you may write a book, and they are the ones that receive that money and they cut you a check. Okay. But they have, like I said, a reputation. They have creative control. But they also, again, have they take the ownership of the project. But they do that because they have already invested quality, and they already have the industry knowledge to produce on your behalf. They have writers, they have editors, they have coaches, they have graphic designers, they have marketing teams, they have all of these things to use and to utilize to push your book out there. But that's the traditional publishing route. There's a hybrid that's in between. It has some attributes of traditional, and then it has some attributes of self-publishing. The hybrid generally still owns the copyright. They do a lot of things like traditional, but your royalty side of it, you get more, you get a higher percentage typically with them on the royalties of your book. So still with them, you would get a check instead of you receiving the full 100% of the cost after production of the book. They also do share the cost of producing the book. But again, you do not have full control. You have to submit the book to them and they have to accept it. They won't accept every book. Now, what people generally do is that self-publishing route. Um, the second part is that self-publishing, and some people do it the right way and some people don't. Okay. So some people, they go on Amazon, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with this. People generally will go on Amazon, they will get that free ISBN number, they will write their book in 2 minutes, they will not invest in publishing, they will not invest in proper graphics for a cover art, and they will put that book out there. Please don't do that. Okay? Please don't. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to push your best product forward. And in order for you to do that, you need to be careful about the vendors that you use. That means if you're self publishing and you don't know how to do cover design, please don't do it. Find you somebody that knows how to do cover design. If you don't know how to do interior layout, please don't do your own formatting. If you don't know how to edit, please don't do your own editing. And even if you do know how to edit, always have somebody else to be able to look over it after you. Why? Listen, I have made many mistakes doing that on my own, trying to be a one man show, and it is a lot. So, you have the ability to own 100% of your rights when you do self-publishing. You get all the royalties. Whereas if you go on Amazon and it costs $2.15 to produce your book and you decide to sell your book for $20, that difference in profit you get to keep after, shipping and packaging your product. You have benefited off of that. So, I would like for you guys to pay attention so that you can have the quality work and put that out there the best way you can. You do have creative control. You get to dress your baby how you feel like it. You get to choose the vendors that you use, vet them, vet them. Ask for samples, ask for other work that they have produced. Ask. It's your baby. You want to make sure that you are dressing it the way you want to. Um, and you can do this on your own, or you can use self-publishing services. Um, and that's something like what I do. I have, you have the designing aspect, you have the coaching aspect, you have these other aspects, and you go to the self-publishing service and you get to choose what services that you use from them. Okay. Same thing you would do with self-publishing. You choose what you want to use. And then you generally have like these a la carte packages, services that you can choose, or you can choose packages from them. And they will help bring your baby to fruition. And they will also help with ideas, and they have the industry knowledge that a first time author may not have. And so I really, really love the it's like a blessing and a curse sometimes. Okay, you can dress it up pretty, but if you don't know how to sell it, that part is kind of saddening, right? So that's when you, as the self-publisher, would then find a marketing person or something of that sort to help push your baby out there. But before we even get there, you got to learn how to do the design work, right? So there are other vendors that you can use. A lot of people jump on Fiverr, they jump on Upworks. These can be beneficial tools to use. I promise you they can. I have used them for different things. Some things I've had successful with, some things I'm like, I shouldn't have used that. But it's a lower cost. But again, you get the quality that you pay for. But again, vet these people, even on Fiverr, even on Upworks. You can ask for samples. Ask them to edit a page of your book. Ask them to show, if you needed something drawn. Ask them to give you samples of what they've drawn. And a good vendor will do that because they want to earn your business. You're right. On Fiverr, there could be an English barrier because these are people that are from all over the place. Okay. And that's why when I use them, I ask a lot of questions. I ask tons and tons of questions because I want to make sure that they understand what I'm asking them to do. And so I think that it's good to utilize the option if that's all you have, especially if you don't have that creative gene and you can't produce it on your own. And maybe you can't afford to use a hybrid publisher or a self-publishing service. Utilize YouTube, utilize some of these free courses that people offer so that you can enhance yourself and get familiar with the industry. Get familiar with the industry, especially when you are trying to convey that you are an expert in the field. People want to know you know what you're talking about. And so tonight, I just wanted to jump on here, give you some of these tips, give you some of these tools, kind of get the conversation going. Because again, like I said, I really thought through and I was like, man, November 1st is National Authors Day. And there are so many people that they have the idea, but they're intimidated for whatever reason to get started. And so I want you to rip the band-aid off. I want you to rip that band-aid off. Don't pull it slowly, rip it off. Start writing. It's as simple as starting with your brain dump. Let's say you don't know who you want to talk to yet. You just have a bunch of ideas. Okay, let's take the time to do our brain dump. I'm not saying build the book yet. I'm saying get all of those thoughts out of your head and onto paper. And then you can start organizing your ideas and seeing which one you want to tackle. And then that's when you start your research. And so, again, some of these, all the things that we talked about tonight, I'm going to put in a PDF document and you'll be able to head over to my site so that you can download it um, and be able to use this so you don't have any more excuses. Time out for excuses. No more excuses. There is somebody that is waiting on the book. They're waiting on the inspiration that you have to offer to them, and they need you to get it out. We talked about that in season 1, waking up to who you are and whose you are. You see that thing behind me? Be bold, be true, be kind, be you. They need you to show up. And I needed someone to talk to me the same way. I needed someone to say, Ebony, what are you waiting for? Ebony, stop trying to be perfect. Ebony, it doesn't have to be done that way. Create your own lane. No, someone's not inviting you. Create your own platform so that you can stand on it. Listen, there are people that need what it is that God has placed on the inside of you. And it may be through the written publication, and they may never meet you, but they'll be able to pick up the book that you invested your heart, your soul, your mind, your experiences in, and they'll be able to take that and grow from it. They'll be able to learn from it. They'll be able to evolve from it. And so I want to thank you guys for jumping on here with me this evening. Remember, the rest of this month, every Tuesday at 7:30, we will be talking all things publishing. Each Tuesday, there will be a different topic that we will tackle because I want to set you up successfully. Listen, when I first started, I had to figure it out. I want to take that away from you. I want to give you some things that I didn't have when I started. I want you to grow faster. I don't want you to have to do the struggle and the trip ups and all the stuff that I had to do. I want you to be able to experience it and experience the emotion of birthing something that has been in your head all this time and releasing it into the world so that other people can benefit off of the God inspired ideas that are on the inside of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you again for jumping on here. I did want you to know that on um, Monday, October 17th, I am doing a free virtual class called Crushing It with Canva. A lot of us use Canva, okay? I used to build my books in Canva. Now I use InDesign, Adobe InDesign. But this workshop will help you to do those things that you see up there, manipulate existing templates, blend images and pictures. Listen, manipulate the templates. Listen, y'all. I keep seeing the same. I know people that use Canva because I done seen it. I've seen the same template over and over. And so I want to help you not do that. Create your own designs that are industry ready, that grab people's attention so that they want to see what it is you offer. Okay, so we are, again, that is Monday the 17th. Tomorrow, the registration link will be up. It is a free hands-on class. You are going to be hands-on. That means we are going to work together to create some of these things in Canva. Okay. So again, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Tomorrow, you'll be able to go and download this PDF from my website. Okay. You'll be able to go to You can go to shewokeupdreaming.com, and you can also binge watch from all the other seasons, okay? Some amazing women up there. You can go do that, or you can go to purposelybook.com. If you're like Ebony, that's great. I have some ideas. I don't want to do it by myself. I want help. Go to purposelybook.com. Right now, my website's being revamped, but there is a contact us button there. You can click on that contact button. It will send an email straight to me, and I can get you scheduled so we can do a blueprint discovery call and talk about your vision and talk about your plan. So it's been great. I don't see any more questions in here in the live. Thank you guys for joining. And again, this will be on the page so you can watch the replay, but don't sit on your dreams. Don't sit on that book. Somebody needs it. I want to read it. See you next week. Bye.